Hello, I'm David Saffo, and along with all of my co-authors, I'll be presenting our systematic review titled Unraveling the Design Space of Immersive Analytics. Immersive analytics is a domain of research that seeks to leverage emerging display technology, such as augmented and virtual reality, for the purpose of data and information visualization. We do this because immersive technology grants the affordances for use of our natural senses and bodily movements in ways 2D display technology cannot. As a result, researchers theorize that immersive analytics holds several key benefits over traditional visualization, including spatial immersion, situated analytics, embodied interaction, collaboration, multisensory presentation, and engagement. And while each of these opportunities shows great promise for improving how we visualize data, meeting this potential demands considerable design knowledge. We do this because immersive technology grants affordances for our use of our natural senses and bodily movements in ways 2D display technology cannot. And as a result, researchers theorize that immersive analytics holds several key benefits over traditional visualization, including spatial immersion, situated analytics, embodied interaction, collaboration, multisensory presentation, and engagement. And while each of these opportunities shows great promise for improving how we visualize data, meeting this potential demands considerable design knowledge. The design space of immersive analytics, all the individual aspects and decisions behind the design of immersive visualizations and systems, is quite immense. It combines all the traditional dimensions of data visualization we're familiar with, such as visualization, data types, encodings, application areas, interactions, and so on, with a whole host of new design dimensions enabled by immersive technology such as spatial presentation, interaction, embodiment, device-specific differences, input modalities, and so on and so forth. Each decision within these design dimensions is inherently linked to the others, leading to branching paths of possible design outcomes. This leaves us with a design space that is hard to understand, approach, and generalize. And there exists a whole corpus of knowledge for how to organize and explore the design space of traditional visualizations, both generally and within the particular aspects or applications of data viz. Immersive analytic researchers have been borrowing bits and pieces of these works to navigate our emerging design space and describe the design choices of our own work. However, past work does not fully translate and does not cover many of the unique aspects of immersive analytics design space. Without this, researchers are left to explore an incomplete description of the immersive analytics design space and do not have a unifying language or framework in which to plan and describe their work. The vastness of the design space is one of immersive analytics' biggest strengths and one of its most preeminent challenges. Existing work has surveyed papers within particular subdomains or applications of immersive analytics, but no work has yet surveyed immersive analytics broadly across many of its traditional and unique design dimensions. This creates a challenge for researchers seeking to understand how different design decisions lead to different outcomes, or which styles of immersive analytics are suited to what applications, ultimately limiting transferability on design knowledge across subdomains and dimensions of immersive analytics. This work seeks to resolve this through the systematic review and analysis of immersive analytics. Publications broadly categorize their design across several traditional and unique dimensions. To achieve this, we collected 143 publications from 2013 to 2022 for review from the relevant digital libraries, conferences, and journals, and we limited our search to only what could be found through those digital libraries so that our searches would be as reproducible as possible. We then narrowed down these works to include only the works describing an immersive visualization or system, and that narrowed it down to 73 papers in total. This corpus of work was then read and analyzed for the traditional unique aspects of their design, and all of our work has been published open source on our OSF repo and GitHub repository as well, but more on that later. Through categorizing and coding these 73 publications, we began to unravel the design dimensions and decisions present in each one, slowly but surely untangling the design space of immersive analytics. On screen are the 17 we coded for each paper. Each of these categories stems from traditional data visualization literature, early immersive analytics theory, or factors we found often described and discussed in the surveyed literature. Examining these categories with each other allowed us to broadly organize them into 5 general design dimensions, these being academic theory and contribution, immersive technology, data, spatial presentation, and visual presentation. Each dimension containing its related categories, and each category containing its respective codes, observed reviewing each paper. By compiling together knowledge in this way, this work presents an observational taxonomy of immersive analytics design. Furthermore, we can use these results to analyze the trends, roles, and effects certain design decisions have on immersive visualizations, both within and across each design dimension and category. To this end, we analyzed the results from our survey in two primary ways. First, we examined the total number of occurrences of each code in any given category. This gave us insights into what the most popular design choices are. Then, we analyzed the co-occurrence of codes within and across dimensions of design. This gave us insights into the relationships between design choices and broadly design categories. Here's an example of what that looks like in the form of a co-occurrence matrix. Analyzing the data in this way gives us a new lens in which to view the design of immersive visualizations and systems, and has revealed several trends and correlations across design dimensions. Furthermore, they paint a picture on how different decisions within these dimensions add up to create distinct but related instances of design. And here are a couple examples from the literature with nice little vignettes of the design decisions and how they sum up to create unique instances of design. I wish I had time to dive deeper into the results, but I would be standing up here all day, so instead I will cover these results generally, as well as what's most relevant for this talk. For example, works exploring situated analytics, the practice of placing visualizations nearby relevant objects was most likely to use AR technology, live dynamic data, constrained exocentric virtual space, and 2D visualizations. Studies examining immersive collaboration shared a lot of similarities to this opportunity, with the same approaches to designing space, possibly because both applications are constrained in some way by the real-world space. This work also further explored the relationship between the unique aspects of immersive analytics design, namely the intersections of spatial presentation and visual presentation, and the immersive technology used. These categories together paint a picture on how immersive analytics currently approaches facet and position, that is, how we choose to scale, position, and present data visualizations within virtual space, and how our choices of immersive technology affect this. Take, for example, the differences in how researchers presented space while using different scales of visualizations. Medium, human-sized visualizations were displayed in finite room scale spaces. Small, hand-sized visualizations were situated to objects, and large visualizations utilized infinite virtual spaces. Next, examining visualization manipulations and interactions, we observed a separation between manipulation of interaction state, such as hovering and filtering, and manipulations to change the facet and position, such as scale, rotation, or position. Small and medium visualizations were more likely to have some method to change their facet and position. However, large-scale visualizations were more likely to ask users to navigate themselves around the visualizations and not the other way around. Finally, these results also show glaring gaps in the corpus of works surveyed, most notably the distinct lack of design studies and lack of collaboration studies, especially those involving multiple styles of devices. These works are especially critical for solving the grand challenges of immersive analytics, of discovering user scenarios and understanding cross-platform and collaborative immersive visualization. So, the results of this work contributed to the consolidation of past knowledge across the domain of immersive analytics. With these results, we can better understand and translate the design of immersive visualizations and systems across works and subdomains. This work also aims to make immersive analytics more approachable to new researchers by acting as a guide and introduction to many of the design decisions needed for this type of research. Furthermore, it provides a template for future researchers in which to describe the design of their own work. This work also identified several directions and gaps researchers will need to pursue to fully explore the design space of immersive analytics. Finally, the greatest limitation to any review is the number of papers we can survey and the detail you can survey each one. I know there are many more immersive analytic papers out there that we didn't cover, and there are also many more dimensions to explore within these works, especially among the subtopics of immersive analytics. Our work as researchers reviewing these works is not over, but we don't have to start from scratch every time. We documented our search strategy and provided our results in detail and open source on our OSF repo. If you're looking to start a survey for yourself, please take what we have already done and use that as a base to extend into a new work. On that note, before we end, I want to discuss what comes next for this survey. I want this work to be a living document and resource for immersive analytic researchers and designers. That is why, in addition to making all of our data available on OSF, we also created an interactive website to explore the survey data, just like we did in this paper. But more importantly, this website can be used to contribute your own work, past and present, to our review. This can be done directly on our website by filling out the data template, which will then allow you to open an issue on GitHub. When you do this, a pull request will be automatically generated for the repo maintainers to review. Once your submission is reviewed and the pull request is merged, the website will reflect the new data automatically. Anyone who contributes data to this website will be given the option to become a maintainer for this repo and to approve pull requests in the future. This way, over time, the survey website will be a collaborative effort from the immersive analytics community as a whole. Thank you for your time. Please see our full paper and materials on OSF, as well as our interactive website at iadesign.space.